you so much. So another member of Health Sciences is a student, Crystal Gallagher, who's going to share with us some information about pickleball. So she did a survey, and it's about past sports history, current playing patterns, and enjoyment.
My name is Crystal, and my research was on pickleball player survey about past sport history, current playing patterns, and enjoyment. My research advisor was Mary Gennady, sitting over there in the red shirt. So raise your hand if you have played pickleball before. Okay, not quite as many hands as I would hope. So those who are not raising your hand, please start playing tomorrow. So here are the contents. We're going to go through the background, methods, results, and discussion of my survey. So for background, here's a little introduction about me. I'm a senior exercise science DPT major with a health science minor. I'm in the honors program. I'm from Wallingford, Connecticut, so I'm not too far away. And I've played competitive pickleball since May of 2022. So what is pickleball? Pickleball is a paddle sport similar to tennis and ping pong. You can play singles and doubles. It's for all ages and skill levels. You could play indoors and outdoors. You play to 11 points, and each game is around 15 minutes. So in the picture you can see that's a tennis court, and the yellow lines are pickleball courts, so a lot smaller. So why study pickleball? I chose to research pickleball because it's the fastest growing sport in America, and it's a huge passion of mine. Pickleball research can provide insight to healthcare workers on how to treat patients who come into the clinic with injuries from pickleball. It may also become an alternative form of physical activity for players who can no longer play their high-impact sports. So to put this into perspective, a news article from NBC Sports said that there were approximately 19,000 pickleball injuries in 2017. 90% of those injuries affected people over the age of 50, and 50.4% were male. Pickleball participation has skyrocketed since 2017, so imagine how many more players are getting injured now. It is important to know how to avoid injuries just like any other sport, and as well as how to treat them. So for the literature review, we had a total of 20 scientific research articles to back up our evidence. We had 8 references were on the topic of how, although pickleball is a low-impact sport, players need education for injury prevention. There were 7 references on how playing pickleball regularly can contribute to the well-being of older and middle-aged adults. And we had 5 references on how pickleball has become an increasingly popular sport. It has spread through the lives of celebrities, which is now being formed into entertainment, as well as competitive tournaments. So a little background, the purpose of my research was to explore the perceptions of past sport history of people who currently play pickleball. And our hypothesis, the first part, was that people perceive pickleball is accessible if they have a past injury. It improves their mental and their physical health and provides meaningful intergenerational interactions. And the second part of the hypothesis was that injured players have not had lessons on proper form and do not warm up with dynamic stretches. So getting to the methods, the survey was on a Google form, 1 response per IP address. There were about 28 multiple choice questions. It was a cross-sectional study, and the experimental procedure was analyzing the responses, and it was open for 4 months last summer. Inclusion criteria was people over the age of 18, so they can consent to the survey, able to read English, and that they've played pickleball more than 1 time a year. Exclusion criteria: are they under 18, unable to provide their own consent, or unwilling to consent, or have never played pickleball before. So some methods: the IRB approval was obtained. All participants completed an electronic consent. The survey was promoted on social media like Instagram, Facebook, and we used a Team Reach app for pickleball, and personal contacts. Descriptive statistics and measures of central tendencies were used to describe the participants. Chi-squares evaluated relationships among characteristics of respondents and answers to the questions. And given an estimate about 3,200 pickleball players on the Connecticut Facebook page, our goal was to have 65 responses, and we can describe the characteristics with 90% confidence and 10% error. So for the results, we had 1,013 total hits on the survey, with 1,011 people consented and fully completed the survey. Fun fact, we hit 46 out of 50 states in America. We missed Alaska, Mississippi, New Hampshire, and Wyoming. We'll get them next time. The oldest was 87 years old and the youngest was 18 years old. The player in the picture, she's actually a 16-year-old. She's the #1 world famous pickleball player in the world right now. So for table 1, we had the demographic questions. The majority of the respondents were female, had a bachelor's degree or higher, born between 1946 and 1964, started playing in their 60s, and lived in the New England area. About past sport history: prior to playing pickleball, the majority of respondents reported that they had a tennis background, played racket sports recreationally, sustained an injury while playing sports, and they were lower limb injuries. So while playing pickleball, half of the respondents did not obtain an injury, but the other half that did get injured, they were also lower leg injuries, and they said they felt limited by their injuries, but they still were able to play pickleball. About their playing patterns, the majority reported that they started playing between 2020 and 2023, so after COVID, and they were playing 3 to 5 years, between 2 to 3 times per week in the summer and the winter. They warm up before they start playing, however, a limited amount dynamic stretch, only 30%. They do not stretch after they finish playing, but those that do did static stretches, only 17%. They have taken pickleball lessons. They mostly play in the mornings and the outdoors, and are 3.0 to 3.5, which is around the intermediate skill level. And the last table, impact. The majority of respondents reported that pickleball is becoming a popular sport because it's fun, it improves social connection, it's easy to learn, increases physical activity, and is affordable. Respondents reported that they started playing pickleball to exercise and stay active and socialize with a friendly community. And the majority of the respondents reported that pickleball improved their mental and their physical health. So for the cross-analysis on the SPSS, some fun facts that we had were of 531 people who got injured playing pickleball, 263 were injured playing other sports previously. Players that performed dynamic stretching were more likely to have gotten injured previously than those did not stretch. The average age for those who got hurt was 60 years old, and the average age for those who did not get hurt was 58 years old. Out of 448 players that got injured while playing pickleball, 307 took lessons. Those who played more often took more lessons than those who played less often. 76% reported that their physical health improved even though they got injured. 768 people said they started for social connections, and 84% of those people claimed pickleball improved their mental health. So for the discussion, overall, the players who are at the most risk for injury are those who have had a prior injury, are older adults, and playing 2 to 3 times per week. And dynamic warm-ups, increasing age, and lessons are all associated with injuries, but are not the main causing factors. To summarize our findings, the results verified the hypothesis by proving that pickleball improves mental and physical health, bridges the gap between generations, and increases social community. And it falsified our hypothesis because players who have gotten injured playing pickleball have had lessons on proper form, and injured players do warm up with dynamic stretches. So for future studies, should look more into strength and conditioning. For pickleball players, I see people of all ages go out on the court and immediately start playing without warming up or strengthening their muscles for hours on end. And I'd be curious to see if strengthening their muscles would help prevent these injuries. And some other studies that could look into are nutritional aspects, comparing the US to other countries, seeing if pickleball contributes to weight loss, and diving more in depth to research that compares dynamic versus static warm-ups. Thank you.